Hello. Well, thanks for joining. I'm even you out here. Okay. So today we're going to do a classical Hatha sequence that I learned. It's not my sequence. It's a sequence I learned from a teacher of mine named Ananda Bhairava. And he is an amazing teacher out of New York City that actually came and did a workshop on this sequence for my yoga teacher training. An amazing teacher, one of those like few teachers like with a capital T that I've had. I hold a lot of respect for. And this sequence is what you consider like a classical Hatha sequence. So Hatha, much like the more typical types of yoga, like vinyasa, flow. Hatha has the same poses as those yogas, but they're held for a longer period of time. So we'll go through this sequence. It's actually there's no standing. At least in this one, I'm going to kind of adapt it for my ability to teach as well, just because being pregnant, there's some of the stuff that's lying flat on your belly, which I'd rather just, I can teach you the parts on the belly, but I'll show you the parts as me being pregnant, not being on my belly. So you can kind of choose which one you want to do. But none of these poses, none of them are standing poses, but it's a workout. I mean, it's, because you're holding things for so long. And I really like Hatha yoga in that aspect because it really gets you into the nuts and bolts of a pose and what each pose can kind of bring to your body, bring to your mind, that sort of thing. Whereas flow and vinyasa kind of has its points too. It's more of like a dance, I always feel like. But I just feel like these Hatha sequences, the classical ones, really give you a sense of each asana, each pose. So, yeah, if you ever, you can look Ananda Bhairava up, but you will not find anything on him on the internet. Unfortunately, he's kind of one of those beings that kind of gave up all of his belongings and lives a very yogic lifestyle, which I think includes just not really having a big internet presence, but he does teach in New York City. And you can kind of look up stuff on his studio, but he's an amazing human being, and he was brought to me by my teacher, Kendra Potter, who is also another amazing yoga teacher in Missoula. If you are looking once COVID stuff lifts for a really good yoga class in Missoula, Kendra Potter, look her up. Her website is sistermoonwellness.com, and she's amazing. And she is starting another teacher training this fall. So if you're interested in that too. But yeah, let's get started. Hands on the knees, eyes closed down. Let's flip the palms up to the sky and just start breathing into the body here. Nice, long, deep inhales through the nose into the belly. Nice, long, complete exhales. Bringing yourself to a place of presence. Letting any past or old thoughts of the day, stresses of the day melt away. Any future stresses or thoughts on what is to come, melt those away as well. Just be in the room. And just try to fill the room you're currently sitting in with your presence. And let's rub our palms together, create some heat. Place the palms in prayer on the chest. We'll tune in one long Om. Let's inhale to prepare. Exhale at the mouth. And again, inhale. Exhale at the mouth. Inhale for sound. The first pose we're going to come into is lying on our back, and it's Halasana, which is plow pose, which is a pretty intense pose to do at first. So I'll show you it, and then also show you some alternatives too, if you're like, I'm not there right now. So lying on your back, you kind of tuck your hands underneath your hips, lift the legs up to 90 degrees, and then lift the feet up and over the head. Trying to get the toes to touch the mat behind you or the floor behind you. And then you can also place the hands on your lower back if you like. Try to keep your legs straight. And if that's too much, which for me being pregnant is too much, you can come into a very intense cat pose. So hands on the mat, knees on the mat, and tabletop. And then really arch the spine up, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone. And breathe here. Typically, each one of these poses should be held in the typical class that he teaches. It's 3 to 5 minutes, about 20 breaths, very slow breaths. I'm going to have us holding it for just 2 minutes each, just to conserve some time and give you a taste. But traditionally, yeah, it's 3 to 5 minutes or 20 breaths. So I should also say, if you're doing this practice in the morning, any less than about 2-3 hours after you wake up, don't do halasana. Your back will not be as stretched out. This is night, so that's why I'm having to get into it. But if it's in the morning for you, any less than 3 hours after waking up, do the cat pose. If you are in cat, slowly come out of it and come lying down on your back. If you are in halasana, bring those legs up and back over, and then just keep the legs at about 90 degrees for a few breaths. And then bring the feet down on the mat. Straighten the legs out, lying flat on your back. And Shavasana. That is the nice part about this series, is after each asana, after each pose, there's a quick little Shavasana to kind of integrate the pose into the body. Let things settle. And let's bring the knees into the chest. Rock up and down on the spine. Rock all the way up to seated, legs straight out in front of you. Next pose is Paschimottanasana, which is seated forward fold. So flexing the feet here. If you have a belt or a strap or anything, and that'd be great. If you have really tight hamstrings, we're going to inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, reach for the toes. Grasp onto the toes. If you can't, grasp onto the ankles or the shins. Really try to keep a straight back here. If you can't even sit up straight here with a straight back, lean back until you can, and use like a belt or something. But straight spine, really important here. Gaze is at your big toes. If your belly and chest is all the way down on the thighs and the knees, you can bring the gaze down to in between your shins. Don't forget to breathe nice, deep inhales and exhales. And inhale, rise up. Exhale again, come lying down on the back, Shavasana. Try your best in this short amount of time, these little Shavasanas, just to relax the body. And bring the knees into the chest, rock up and down the spine, rock the way up and through to your belly. And we're going to come into baby cobra here. So elbows underneath the shoulders, hands out in front of you, feet together in the back. Try to at least. If that's really uncomfortable for the lower back, you can open up the feet a little bit, but we're trying to keep the feet together in the back. Chest open. And if you're in baby cobra now, put the gaze down the slope of the nose. If you would like a little bit more, you can walk the hands back a little bit, push up. So you're in cobra. If you're pushed up into cobra, elbows off the mat, you can bring those eyes up through the skull of the head, almost like you're attaching a rope from your eyeballs to your feet. And breathe. This is Bhujangasana, is the name of cobra. Shoulders away from the ears. Try to open up the hood of your cobra. So opening up the chest, bringing the chin down if you're on your elbows. If you're up in cobra, you can lift the chin, bringing the eyes back. Like I said, almost attaching that rope from the heels, the toes to the eyeballs. Inhale deeply. And exhale, lie down, bring the left cheek to the mat, bring the arms behind you. We're gonna do belly down Shavasana. I'm gonna do, since I'm pregnant, just a child's pose. So do either if you like, but Shavasana here, relaxation, belly down. Inhale, let's walk the hands up and let's flip over onto our backs. Feet on the ground, knees bent. Pressing the palms on the mat on either side of the hips. And try to bring the heels up to graze the fingers here. Feet about hip width distance apart. Keeping the knees balanced, we're going to push up into bridge pose. Tucking the shoulders under if you can. Clasping the hands underneath you. Bringing the chest towards the chin. Breathing here. Inhale, pushing the hips up. Exhale, lower the hips down. And let's extend the legs out. And Shavasana, lying flat on our back. And let's bring the knees into the chest. Rock up and down on the spine. And rock all the way up and through to hands and knees. So this next pose, I'm going to teach you the way I'm going to do it first, and then I'll explain to you how to do it. It's Ardha Shalabhasana, which is half locust, but that's laying all the way down on your belly. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to be on all fours since I'm pregnant. And I'm going to take my right leg back, flexing the foot, line of energy from the heel to the skull, and just try to raise that heel as high as you can. And then bring the chin up, look, gaze forward. Breathe here. You can either do this or you can do that, basically lying all the way down on your belly. Chin on the floor, hands behind you. like this. Palms flat on the ground underneath your hips. Chin on the mat, gaze is straight forward. Don't close your eyes. Really flex and lift from that lower back and that glute. Says if your vision gets blurry, you're doing it right. This helps strengthen your optic nerve, actually. Nice, slow, deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale, lower that knee down or lower that foot down. We're just going to switch and do the other side. So either lying flat on your belly or on all fours, lifting that left foot now. Line of energy out through the heel. Flexing that foot. Gaze is straight forward. Try not to close your eyes. Try to really fix on a point here. And breathe. And inhale. Exhale, lower that knee down. And you're going to come all the way down on your belly. Bring the right cheek to the mat, or you can come back into child's pose. Shavasana. Belly down, Shavasana. It depends on whichever one's more comfortable for you. You can bring the arms in front of you, or you can bring the arms behind you if you're in child's pose as well. Palms facing.
Inhale deeply. Exhale, bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Lift yourself up and flip yourself over so you're lying on your back. Feet on the mat, knees up. And we're going to come into shoulder stand here. If you don't have shoulder stand in your practice, just lift the legs up to 90 degrees, hands down on the mat by the hips. If you would like and have it in your practice, even if you want to, you can lift all the way up into shoulder stand. Try to bring your hips over your shoulders, so your hips are in line with your shoulders. Legs are technically supposed to be straight up and down from there too, but if they bend backwards a little bit, that's fine. This is Sarvangasana, shoulder stand. Inhale. Exhale, lower the hips down, keeping the legs up to 90 degrees if you are in shoulder stand. Take a few breaths here. And then lower down into lying on our back, Shavasana. Bring the palms up, splaying the feet. Breathe here. And inhale, bring the knees into the chest. Rock side to side on the spine. And then we're going to come into Matsyasana, fish pose. So you're going to bring the legs long again. Point the toes here, bring the feet together. And you're going to come up onto your elbows directly underneath the shoulders. Palms down on the mat. And then we're going to lift the chest as high as we can and then bring the head back and gaze directly backwards. Directly backwards. Directly towards the back. I mean, I don't know if that makes sense, but your chest and your sternum is the highest point of the body here. Opening up the chest is a counter stretch to that shoulder stand, that kind of compression in the neck and the chest area. This is opening that back up. If you want, you can lift the fists up towards the armpits, just having the elbows on the ground. And then full expression is actually in lotus, so bringing your feet in your full lotus, and then also wrapping your, I can't do it right now, but I did have it in my practice, wrapping your, hooking your fingers with your toes. But if you're like, no way, I can't do that, just stick where you are in fish. Amanda by Rava, one of my favorite things he always says is perfection over completion. So perfect the posture where you're at. Don't just try to complete the posture, because you will get to that completion, but if you aren't doing it correctly, it's not really completion. So go at your own pace, go where your body can go and be perfectly. And inhale deeply. Exhale, lower down. Again, Shavasana, splay the feet, palms open to the sky. Breathe here. And bring the knees into the chest. Rock up and down on the spine. Rock all the way up into a seat with the legs out in front of you. And here we're going to do Ardha Matsyendrasana, which is a seated spinal twist. I think it's like half Lord of the Fishes pose, which I don't know, that was fish pose. Looks like a totally different thing, but it's half Lord of the Fishes pose. It's a seated spinal twist. So you're going to take your right leg and you're going to tuck it in toward the left thigh. And then you're going to take your left leg, try to take your left foot, and without doing anything with your hands, try to take your left foot and place it over on the other side of your knee. If that's not possible, you can pick it up and do it, or you can place it on the inside of the knee as well. And what we're going to do here is we're going to inhale, reach up with that right arm. And then exhale, you're going to curl that right arm around the left leg. And then you're going to bring that left arm and bring it behind you. And place the back of the hand on the back and try to wrap it around as far as it can go. So almost to your belly if you can, if you reach those fingers around. And then you're going to twist the spine and the chin all the way to the left. So looking in the very left corner of both the eyes. I'm not going to do this deep of a twist since being pregnant, so I'm actually just going to take the left arm and I'm going to twist the other way. Try to bring your forearms, try to bring them together. So it's almost like you're trying to press them together, squeeze the body in between your forearms. Again, make sure that focus, that very left corner of the eyes. And take a deep inhale. Exhale, twist out of it, release. Release the legs. Then we'll do the other side, left leg, left foot in the right thigh, taking that right foot, placing it either on the outside or the inside of the left knee. And this time we're going to take our left arm, reach it up, nice tall spine, reach, and then bring it around, grasping that right leg, taking that right arm, bringing it around and wrapping it behind you, squeezing those forearms together, and then looking into the right corner and twisting the spine, rotating all the way to the right. And again, like I said, I don't do these deep twists pregnant, so I'm going to just do the other side.
Try to lift the spine when on your inhale. Lift, open, open, open the spine. Lift, lift, lift. And then when you exhale, twist. So a little more. So you're always lengthening and then twisting. Lengthening and then twisting. As much as you can. I mean, don't crank the back too bad if you're not used to these twists or your first time doing the pose. But just to keep your mind nice and long on the inhale. And then twist on that exhale. Always trying to find length in the spine. All the time. And inhale deeply. Exhale, unwind. Bring the legs out in front of you. Shake it up. I'm going to come into Baddha Konasana, which is bound angle pose, or butterfly pose, some people call it. You're going to bring the feet together. Try to count 2 fists out from your groin area, and then bring the heels to meet that second fist. And you can open up the pages like a book, or open the page like open up your feet like a book. Bring your peace fingers here, so pointer finger and middle finger, wrap them around the big toe. Also, just so you don't crank it as much, you can just take your index finger and wrap it around your big toe as well, because you're not really using as leverage to pull. You're just kind of putting them there. You don't want to really lift or anything. You're going to inhale, open up the chest, and then exhale, try to place the chest forward fold in those feet. Again, nice straight spine, line of energy from the crown of the head all the way down to the tailbone. Try to bring the elbows on the outside of the shins. Don't use the elbows to crank down on the legs. Bring them on the outside of the shins. And if you're here and you're like, this is easy, you can bring your hands down in front of you, thumbs together, touching all the way down to the wrists, fingers apart. And if you're like, I got this, you can bring the elbows down, thumbs touching all the way down to elbows. And if you're like, that's easy, you can bring the hands all the way out on the sides, bringing the forehead towards the mat. Those are kind of their stages that you can go. Again, line of energy from the crown of the head to the tailbone. Nice, straight spine. And inhale. Walk the hands up, rise up. And exhale. Bring the legs out in front of you. You can shake them. So next we're going to do the yogic seal. We can do half lotus or full lotus. So we're going to take the hand, right hand, grab onto the outside of the right foot, bring it up towards you, and scoop. Sorry, I did that wrong. Sorry, you're going to take your right hand and scoop it under, so you're kind of holding onto your heel here. And you're going to clasp the left hand on the other side. And then try to bring the big toe in line with your chin. So you're kind of cradling the foot and the leg here. And then let's just start making circles on top of the left thigh. You can either stay here. Even if this is really hard, you can just bring it then towards on the left thigh as well. But if you can place it on top of the left thigh, great. This might be enough for you. So hold on here. Or if you like, you can take your left foot and bring it on top of the right thigh. So you're in that full lotus. So either half or full lotus, or like I said, if even half lotus isn't good, you can just place this right here. So go where you need to go, where you can. If you got this and this is all you can do, you can't even lean forward or anything, that's totally fine. Stay here, breathe here. Or if you're here and you're like, I want to do more, take the hands again, bring the hands in front of you, thumbs to touch all the way down to the wrists here, fingers wide, nice straight spine, line of energy from the crown to the tailbone. And again, if you have, you can bring the elbows down, elbows to thumbs. And if you have that, you can bring arms wide and forehead towards the mat. So find a place where you can be and breathe. And inhale. Walk the hands towards the body slowly. And wrap the legs, bring them out in front of you. Check. And then we'll do the other side. So taking that left hand, scoop that left foot, cradle that foot, and bring the toe to the chin. Just circle foot. And we'll place the foot on top of the right thigh or at the side of the right thigh, whichever's comfortable. Stay here, or if you'd like to do full lotus, bring the right foot on top of the left. Some sides may be different. You might be able to really do this side or not. Do what you're comfortable with. And again, take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, fold forward to wherever you want. Thumbs touching to the wrists, palms open. Or you can just also sit with a straight back if that's not possible. As long as the spine's straight, we're just wanting a straight spine. And you can lower down, find the degree that you want to be at and sit at. I lengthen the spine here. And inhale. Hands back, rising up. Exhale. Release. And we're going to come open up the feet on the mat. And we're going to lower down into Shavasana. Palms open. Lay the feet. And inhale. Bring the knees into the chest. Exhale, rock up and down on the spine. All the way up to seated. And we're going to end. I'm just going to teach headstand. If you're don't have a headstand in your practice, don't do it. Now's not the time to try an online class. But I'm going to go through it because it is part of the sequence. And I'm comfortable doing it. But if you're not comfortable or have never done one before, probably not the time to try right now. But if you've done one before and would like to try, you can follow along. We're going to come onto our knees, sitting on our heels. And also, if you don't want to go up into a full one, you can kind of follow along until you're like, okay, I'm not going to go into the full headstand. I'm just going to teach egg because that's where I think everybody should start to really get their headstand. So we're going to place the hands, kind of cradle them in front of us. You want to kind of bring your hands apart and then bring them together here. And then we're going to bring our head
kind of cradled in those hands.
You can bring your hands also to your elbows. That's how you want your elbows shoulder width apart.
And then you're going to bring the crown of your head, not that flat, nice top part of the head. You're like, oh, that'd be a nice place to do a headstand. You want to bring the crown of your head because that's actually more in line with your cervical spine. And you'll put less awkward pressure on your cervical spine if the weight's on the crown of your head. You can either just stay here if you like and kind of feel this out, put a pressure in the elbows and the forearms. Or you can curl the toes and just bring the hips up here. Again, put a lot of pressure in the arms. Like almost like you're trying to not put any weight on the head at all, pushing into the arms. And then if you feel comfortable, you can bring one foot in and the other foot in to egg.
They say you're supposed to be able to hold egg for 20 breaths. That's what I've heard from a teacher. 20 breaths is a long time before you bring your feet up. So I'm still working on that. I can bring my feet up, but I'm really trying to focus on 20 breaths in egg. I just think it's important to really have that strength, especially with our spines and not knowing kind of what's going on with our spines. A lot of the times we can have asymptomatic bulges and whatnot in our discs. So it's always better to stay mindful. When you're ready, you can come out of your headstand. And once you come out of the headstand, you're going to take your butt to your heels. You're going to clasp the hands in front of you, thumbs next to each other, and then just place your forehead on your thumbs. And breathe. This helps kind of reset your spine, bring more length and opening to the spine. It's a lot of pressure on your cervical spine. And this kind of helps, like putting this on this little platform. Helps open it up, give it that length it needs. Now when you're ready, inhale, rise up. Exhale. Lying flat on your back, our last Shavasana, which again will be a short Shavasana since we've been taking little Shavasanas throughout the whole practice. And when you're ready, bring the knees into the chest. Rock side to side on the spine, then rock up and down on the spine. Come all the way up to seated. We're going to end with a pranayama, Nadi Shuddhi or Nadi Shodhana, so alternate nostril breathing. Let's take our right hand and we're going to cover our right nostril with our thumb. And we're going to inhale through the left nostril. Hold the breath Rotate that around so the pinky is now covering the left nostril, and exhale out the right. Inhale through the right. Hold the breath, switch back, thumb right nostril. Exhale out the left. Inhale through the left. Switch. Exhale out the right. And continue that breath. Always switching the nostril at the top of the inhale. On your next exhale out the left nostril. Release the hand down. And let's place the palms in prayer on the chest. Thank you for coming to your mat today, joining me in these wonderful teachings, originally taught to me by my teacher Ananda Bhairava. I want to thank him for these teachings. Thanks to his teacher, Mahayogi, and the teachers before him. Love to all, light to all, peace to all. Taking a nice deep inhale. Exhaling the forehead towards the mat. Thank you so much for watching, joining along, and I will see you next time.